majestic beauty of nature. On a different note, is making tea a problem for you? You aren't alone. Are you having troubles doing your schoolwork and taking care of your backpack? Or are you just occupied with oranges? You might need help on that one. The Humanities Mass Communication Arts Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our host, Elijah McVeigh, to meet the new directors.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you will be on this show are students who, when are not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you as few mistakes as possible. Each student written and directed 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves and productions they've created and give you the chance to get to know them and enjoy some of the work they've done during the semester. Our guest today is someone who enjoys making videos on the internet, music, and is an aspiring game designer. We would like you to meet today's guest, Edward Morley.
Happy to be here.
Please describe your film background.
Well, ever since I was a kid, I had a strong interest in this field, and I took classes on the subject any opportunity I could. I mean, the whole interest really sparked when I was like 3 years old and saw Star Wars for the first time. That was amazing. But yeah, when YouTube came along, I started making videos, which I continue to do to this day. In fact, doing this helped me academically, as when taking film classes in high school, I already had a feel for a lot of this, resulting in me getting really good grades in those courses and even a $500 cash reward, even though I wasn't too satisfied with the projects I produced. It's also a surprise, as after all, it's not every day where you get to be paid to do schoolwork. It's not something that happens, but it's like something out of a dream. Yeah. And however, despite all of this, I'm primarily interested in game design. That doesn't mean I have no interest in film. I actually really do. I really have like a variety of interests, and I really like to explore all of them. And my videos on YouTube primarily consist of informative videos involving such a topic. It also helps that a lot of the knowledge I learned in film translates into gaming as well. From more obvious stuff as cutscenes and in-game animation to integration of music, voiceover lines, and even how to approach the medium in an artistic way. The very same way I see film as a use of a visual medium. You want to use visuals to convey everything, or at least be the primary method of communication. I believe that in gaming, the same could be said about the interactions themselves. And on YouTube, I actually kind of have a reputation for being I have a very concrete mindset on this topic, and I get both praise and criticism as a result from that. Unfortunately, a lot of this game footage is quite old and doesn't really reflect so much the final product. Regardless, I still feel that studying this field is pertinent to what I want to do in the long run, which is game design. And this is footage from my newest game, Jack Razor. Again, this is much earlier footage, but I'm very happy with how it's turning out overall. And yeah, work in progress.
Wow, that's really cool.
Thanks.
Could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
I was trying to get all the credits I can to graduate from Norwalk Community College. The biggest thing I needed was more electives. So I tried to sign up for any electives I could get my hands on. However, there was somewhat of a complication of having the electives I want match up with the schedule of the courses I needed. However, this was a class that really fit both categories. I wanted to take it, and it fit with everything else as well, and I'm very glad to do so. I think that this fits both categories rather well.
Interesting. What are some of the most useful things you've learned in the TV production course?
Well, I definitely learned how important the use of a tripod is. In the past, I just used a big stack of GameCube games. I have a lot. It's one thing when you're making videos online and the production quality doesn't matter as much as the content due to lower standards for production. But when you're making a film project or really anything on a greater scale, you really need to have a tripod to really get good angles and like an even ground and all that stuff. Then there's the guidelines of good shot composition. In the nature project especially, I focused on framing the shots the best I could, and let me tell you, the end result is definitely worth it if you do so. This especially helps because I've been storyboarding the cutscenes for a game I've been working on, so this was especially useful to learn.
Could you tell us about the Student Studies, Teacup Project, Nature Project, and Where's My Orange Productions?
The Student Studies project was done within a very short period of time, as I was confused throughout a duration of the process. Different shot lists required different shots altogether, and when all this was cleared up, I got to work and filmed right away. Unfortunately, I think it was kind of rushed in the end. Shots could have been framed better, and seeing how I gravely overestimated the space that I had in the basement, that and lighting has always been an issue down there. It's like even with adjustable lights that I can, as that would suggest, I can move the lights to anywhere I want, but they're so hard and so forceful that, and they don't really even. The teacup project also had a trouble start, as I don't have a tea set, so I had to borrow one from my grandmother. Then when I was printing off more materials, my mother unplugged the printer and I had to wait hours for her to finish what she was doing. Then there was the issue of space when filming. I live in a very small house, so there was definitely the sense of claustrophobia, especially in the kitchen, which is where this had to be filmed. So filming this was the toughest, actually. Despite that, I don't feel it shows too much in the end result, and I actually think this turned out better than Student Studies. Now for the Nature Project, I filmed it each weekend for 3 weeks in a row. This allowed me to really plan each shot effectively, and I definitely feel that this has my best cinematography. I also used music that I composed myself, and I think it fit perfectly. I then added the shots in synchronicity to the music, and I really like how this one turned out. I really love the shots in this one. And for the Orange Project, this one was much more story-driven, and I really had fun with the story. I have a very strange sense of humor, and I think it really shows here. Unfortunately, all of the mistakes I could make, I did too much. Editing this project down was very difficult, as so much footage either moved the plot forward or established the mental map and shot-to-shot continuity better. Nonetheless, I do see it as one of my better projects I've done, even outside of this class.
Those projects look really well made.
Thanks.
Which of these projects did you like the most? Tell us about it while we watch it and listen to the music.
All right. I definitely feel that the Nature Project turned out the best. The environment of a trail in the woods gave me a surprising amount of variety of things to shoot, especially over the course of a few weeks, which really helped me allow to time and really just gave me amount of time to really focus on like what kind of shots I wanted, what sort of things would look the best. And I really love these shots, and as I've said before, the music reflects the content beautifully. I made sure that each subsequent visit, it was always the same time or the lighting was the same. However, as time went on in the last shoot, which lasted much longer than the others, the sun started to set. This resulted in some beautiful lightning and some much more powerful shots. As a whole, I feel that this is my best project, even more so than the Orange Project, which oddly enough, I was much more excited to do because it gave me the opportunity to really tell this crazy story, and I love telling crazy stories, but this really let me just really capture the beauty of nature.
You mentioned a variety of things you've learned in this course. What is the most interesting, most important skill you learned, and how will you use it in the later future?
Definitely the guidelines for good composition.
Yeah.
I think this will help my future work immensely. And this class definitely helped evolve my standard to a higher place in regards to this, especially my online videos and cutscenes for the games that I work on.
Today, we got to meet someone who likes to explore his various talents as a new TV director. He hopes to apply what he has learned here at NCC to improve his future projects. He also plans to use the new knowledge from TV1 to make cutscenes for his independent games with more than a focus on cinematography. We'd like you to thank Edward Morley for joining us for today's guest.
I'm happy here.
We hope you enjoyed meeting one of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and have a great day.
Is a Norwalk Community College student production.